In progress.
Good evening, students. Welcome. Today we are going to study virtually two different chapters. I'm saying virtually because though it is part of this chapter only, the composition scheme, but in itself is a chapter. And then the later half will be starting with the next actual chapter, which is place of supply. So let me start my session today. Until previous class, we in depth discussed the charging section, which is 9.1 and also 5.1. We also studied 5.2.9.2, which deals with taxation of petroleum products, which is for the time being outside the GST levy, kept outside the GST levy. And we were very much in detail dealing with the 9394, that is the RCM. And in that, we discussed all the list of services which are covered under RCM in detail. And this was also in the previous class discussed in detail with all the possible doubt clearances. And over there, we also ventured into some very important technical uh, query resolution, whereby I'm sure now many of you are thorough not only about the RCM but also about many basic and many technical concepts in GST. Now in the charging section, we also had the third type of charge, which I have called as special charge. Though no such word is used in the law, I have given it just for our easy remembrance, where it is neither the supplier nor the recipient, but some third person who is made responsible to pay the tax. And if you remember, I had mentioned that 9.5 is applicable only for services, that to some specified services, where neither the supplier, which is forward charge, neither the recipient, which is reverse charge, none of them have to pay the tax. The responsibility is put upon the online app through which those few services are being provided. And I also gave you practical examples like Ola, Uber, Urban Clap, Agoda, MMT, etc. But today we are going to now study this in detail. We'll see what are those few specified services, what are the conditions attached to it. And after that, we will go to that, though part of this chapter only, but a new chapter, new concept in itself, that is composition scheme or composition levy. So very warm welcome to everyone. Very good evening, Surinder, Divya, Rashmi Kumari, Sridhar, Tanmay, Jash, Minu, Gaurav, Pavan, Lohit, Ananya, Akhila, Lavanya, Ankita, Vanshika, Prachi, Dhanlakshmi, Diksha, Aditi, Aditya, and everyone present over here. A warm, warm welcome. And let us go to this concept of 9.5, which I have named as special charge. Now in this 9.5, the tax is payable neither by the supplier nor by the recipient, but by the online app. Now this online app is what is called as e-commerce operator, or in short ECO. So you have to now remember this term. In your language, it is the online app. Now, interestingly, there are many businesses who own their online apps, and through their own online apps, they are providing their own goods or services. That is not covered over here. Here, only those online apps are covered, which are only apps. They are themselves not supplier of goods or services, but they provide you a connecting platform whereby you, who is the consumer, can be connected to me, who is the supplier, and through that app, we are doing our business. I am doing my business with you. I am providing the goods or services to you. So such online app, which are not dealing in their own goods or service, are what will be covered in 9.5, So if the same service which we are going to read the name here is being provided by me, I am the supplier and I have created my online app. Now today many businesses have their own online apps, and I am also the service provider and I am having the online app. I'll give you a simple example. I am a big hotel. Now hotel services are covered over here in this list with some conditions. Now I am a hotel having my own online app, and you book my hotel room using my online app, then it is never covered in 9(5). I am a restaurant. You book online food from my restaurant using my own app, again it is not covered in 9(5). So here what will be covered in 9(5)? We have said that the tax is payable by apps, online apps, which is over here called as electronic commerce operator. But what is very important, only those cases will be covered over here where there are, you can say, three parties. One is the supplier, one is the buyer, and then there is an app, which is a third person. It is not the supplier's app. So this third person is only running the app, and this third person is the ECO. Using this app, you, from the list of different suppliers who are available here, you select one of the suppliers, you book the supplier, and you get the services. And the supplier provides you the services using this app, because through this app only the supplier got connected to you. Then only it will be covered in 9(5) over here. Yes, something you can say like Make My Trip, something like Zomato, because Zomato itself is not running its own restaurant, right? Is this clear to all? Just allow me. Sorry, sir. Yes, Sanketji, just a minute, please. Yeah. So students, so this is that important point that you need to keep in mind, that only those online apps which are providing third-party services through their apps. Yes, so now I'm getting correct and good examples. Oyo, Ola, Uber. Amazon example is correct. Big Basket example is correct, though both will not be covered here. Why? Because they are only supplier of goods. And as you know, we are over here going to cover only specified services. But if you are only giving me examples of the apps which are third-party apps, then you all are correct. Even Big Basket is correct. Amazon is correct, though not covered here. Yes, Rapido will be covered here. Manisha is asking then under what head Amazon, Flipkart will fall. See, Amazon, Flipkart, they are e-commerce operator, but they are not covered in 9.5. Why? Because I mentioned on the first day, 9.5 is only going to cover services, and Amazon, Flipkart are selling goods through their apps. So they are not covered here. In that case, the normal forward charge is applicable. The supplier of those goods itself is required. See, where RCM is not there, where this special charge is not there, then the normal rule is there. That is the supplier is required to pay tax. Aditi Verma, what you said, I don't think it is correct. Supplier of service is equal to ECO is wrong because that is in fact not equal to ECO. ECO is a third person. See, in case of Amazon, let us take an example of Amazon, though Amazon will not be covered in 9.5. You order some pair of shoes. You are the consumer, you are the recipient. When you select the shoes on Amazon and you click and you place order, the order comes to me. I am the actual storekeeper. Maybe I am the Metro, or maybe I am the Louis Philippe, where the order has come. I am the seller. I am the supplier of shoe. You are the buyer of shoe, and the Amazon is only a third person who is running that app, Amazon app. So supplier of goods or service is not equal to ECO beta here. That is what is I'm trying to tell you. In fact, it is not equal. Vaishnav is saying, why not Netflix and Prime? Because they are themselves supplier of service. What is the online platform? See, Netflix, when you watch anything on Netflix, the Netflix has already purchased that particular movie rights, that particular OTT series rights. So when you are watching that, Netflix is working as a supplier of service, not working only as a platform. Yes. What is this Grow Up app? Acha, Gaurav, I myself am not knowing what is Grow Up app. So Topper again, beta, as far as I know, Topper is itself service provider. So the coaching or education supplier itself is Topper, and it has created its own app, and through the app, it is providing the service. So it is itself the supplier. So that is what will not be covered. Yes, Aditi Verma, I am repeating myself. 9.5 does not cover supply of goods. Correct. I am repeating that. So what do you want to say in that? Acha, Grow Up is trading app. Okay. Okay. Why is product word included in the statement? What? Why is the product word included in the statement? Which statement? ECO should be third party and supply only service, specified service. See, ECO is only the online app. Supplier of service. Let us say, see what happens in case of Ola Uber. Ola Uber is the app. Who is the supplier of service? Supplier of service is that individual cab operator whose cab you have booked, like Rapido app. In case of Rapido app, let us say I am owning my bullet bike. I have listed myself on Rapido. When you book the bike, I come to your doorstep to pick you. I am the supplier of service. You are the recipient of service, and you have availed this service, or I am supplying this service through that Rapido app. So that is what is the third person. Nisha Pal, beta, whatever is your question, if you ask me, I'll definitely explain it in Hindi because the general thing is that we have to conduct the entire session in English. So the general session is conducted in English. मगर आपको कोई भी डाउट होगा, आप जो सवाल पूछेंगे, आप सवाल पूछिए, मैं आपके उस पर्टिकुलर सवाल का हिंदी में जवाब दे दूंगा. Gaurav Bansal, sorry, Gaurav Basiwal, beta, stock trading apps are not yet covering here. फर्स्टली रीजन इज स्टॉक के ऊपर जीएसटी वैसे ही नहीं लगता है तो उसको यहाँ पे कवर क्यों करेंगे. स्टॉक is coming in security and securities are outside GST. So there is no GST on security. So no reason of covering stock trading apps. Secondly, the commission which the brokers are charging, that is what is liable to GST, but that is not covered in 9.5. They have not yet covered that under this list. So Vaishnavi says, so when there is no facilitation between supplier and buyer, 9.5 is not applicable. Correct, sir. तो निशा पाल बेटा मैं अब तक ईसीओ ही बता रहा हूँ. ये जो मैंने एग्जांपल दिया ओला उबेर, आपको एग्जांपल नहीं समझा बेटा. आपको कहीं पे जाना है, आपके घर से लेटस से आपको 50 किलोमीटर दूर कोई लेटस से आईसीआई का पेपर सेंटर है जहाँ पे आपको जाना है एग्जाम के लिए. वहां पे निशा आप जाने के लिए क्या करते हो, आप ऑनलाइन ऐप जो ओला उबेर ऐप है वो डाउनलोड किया है आपने, और वहां पे आप स्टार्ट पॉइंट एंड पॉइंट डाल के आप कैब बुक करते हो। मैं कैब लेके आपके दरवाजे पे आता हूँ। नाउ इन दिस केस आई एम द सप्लायर ऑफ सर्विस, मैं वो कैब ऑपरेटर हूँ जो आपको सर्विस दे रहा है। यही कैब आप रास्ते पे से डायरेक्ट बुक कर सकते थे, मगर रास्ते पे आप कहाँ ढूंढोगे, बाहर जाके खड़ा रहना पड़ेगा। ये ना करना पड़े इसके लिए आपको कन्वीनियंस देने के लिए एक ऐप बन गया। वो ऐप से आप डायरेक्टली जाके उस ऐप पे आप घर बैठे आप किधर का भी कैब बुक कर सकते हो। सो ऐप आपको केवल कनेक्ट कर रहा है। इट इज लाइक अ शादी.com कॉन्सेप्ट। सो व्हाट इज दिस ऐप? इट इज दैट शादी.com ऐप। शादी तो लड़का और लड़की करने वाले हैं। सो द टू पार्टी सप्लायर रेसिपिएंट आर डिफरेंट। द ऐप इज ओनली कनेक्टिंग देम। दैट इज व्हाट इज ईसीओ, और दैट इज व्हाट इज कवर्ड इन 9.5 बेटा। कौन से सर्विसेज कवर्ड है वो अभी हम पढ़ने वाले हैं। See, book my show again. You are very correct, beta. So it is ECO, but it is not covered in the list as on the date. But you're right. Maithili says, sir, not able to join Zoom through BOS app, sir. Now I'm joined through Knowledge Portal only. Sir, it's very difficult to watch, sir. संकेत जी कुछ टेक्निकल इशू है, एक बार आप प्लीज मैथिली से कनेक्ट कर लेंगे। शी इज हैविंग सम टेक्निकल इशू इन ज्वाइनिंग। Lavanya is asking, sir, is itself supplier itself has own app and is providing service. I already started with this, Lavanya. I mentioned this. If supplier has its own app, like let us say, again I'll give you example. I'm Taj Hotel. Taj Hotel has its own app. You can go to the app of Taj Hotel and you can book a room through the Taj Hotel app itself. So the supplier of service, which is the hotel, is having its own app also. Now, when you are booking any service through the app of the supplier, that is not covered here. So the app has to be a third person, not the supplier. Apps where daily we deposit 50 rupees, then this app is also e-commerce. But what you are depositing this 50 rupees for, Akila? And firstly, whether it is a taxable service under GST. So I don't know what that app is where you are depositing 50 rupees. So let us now read the list of
Very,
those services which are covered. Yes, Josh.
very good evening, sir.
Good
सर
evening.
लाइक अभी हम ईसीओ के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो एक ऐप है जहाँ पर है ना एक सेफ गोल्ड करके एक सर ना एक ऐप है जहाँ पर हम लोग है ना गोल्ड या फिर सिल्वर कमोडिटी खरीद सकते हैं और सेल आउट कर सकते हैं।
Hmm.
या तो हम उसको फिजिकल या तो हम कैश में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं। तो
But
सर क्या
whether
वो
it
भी
is
ईसीओ में
supply
आ
of
सकता है?
goods, whether this is goods or service, आप जो खरीद रहे हो इस
सर
ऐप से
दोनों
ये
है
गुड्स
वैसे।
या सर्विस है? कैसे बेटा?
सर
आपने जो
क्योंकि
खरीदा
गुड्स
वो
इसलिए
गुड्स है
क्योंकि
या
हम उसको
सर्विस है?
सर सर्विस है।
कैसे? मैं वही पूछ रहा हूँ। आपने क्या खरीदा बेटा इस ऐप पे?
सर मैंने गोल्ड खरीदा है, गोल्ड कमोडिटी।
गोल्ड गुड्स या सर्विस है?
सर गोल्ड तो गुड्स है।
तो वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, जाओ जो चीज आपने खरीदी वो गुड्स है तो फिर वो 9.5 में आएगा ही नहीं ना बेटा। आपको सर्विस लेनी है ना इस ऐप से, तभी तो आप 9.5 में कवर होगे।
ओके सर।
करेक्ट ना?
यस करेक्ट करेक्ट।
तो आपका एग्जाम्पल नहीं कवर्ड है इसमें, राइट?
हाँ हाँ सर, ये वाला नहीं है। यस सर।
Now I'm reading out the list. Now this is as per notification 17. This notification gets updated over period of time. So today so many services are covered. So first service is transportation of passenger. अब इसको आप कैसे ये कौन से सर्विसेज है? आप रेडियो टैक्सी, मोटर कैब, मोटरसाइकिल, तो इसमें आपके वो सारे एप्स आ गए जो हमने बोला था, ओला, उबेर, रैपिडो, जिससे आप कोई भी गाड़ी, टैक्सी, रिक्शा, टू व्हीलर बुक करते हो फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टिंग. So where it is a passenger transport service, it is covered, right? Same again, passenger transport is covered, but now what you're booking is a bigger vehicle, that is Omni bus. So both are passenger transport service. Then comes staying in a hotel. So now you want to travel to a different place where you want to stay in the hotel. Now, when you want to stay in a hotel, you need to book the hotel room. In this particular case, if you are using some app like Make My Trip Agoda, all these apps, then those apps are covered over here. So Make My Trip, Agoda, and such apps, right? Where what you are booking is accommodation. However, there is an condition over here. Ki when it will not be covered over here, where the person supplying such service through the ECO is liable for registration. In short, if these hotels are already registered under GST, they are covered under section 22(1) of GST. That is, they themselves are big service providers. Because see, the moment your turnover crosses a certain limit, you have to compulsorily register under GST. So only small hotels who are registered on online apps, only their services are covered here. If you're a big hotel, you are liable for registration or already registered under GST. Your hotel services will not come under 9(5). Then you have housekeeping. Now, what is housekeeping? Daily you require people like plumber, carpenter, driver, house help, laundry. These are day-to-day small services, small activities that you require. Now, in very big cities like Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, Chennai, all these places, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, people over there who are staying are majority outsiders who have come there for education purpose, for job purpose, for business purpose. Now, when they shift there, they require all these services, but they don't know anybody in that city, even including getting the house on rent. They don't know where to search for. So they come to these apps. Now, the most common app is Urban Clap. Yeah, 99 acres, where you get all these services because there are multiple suppliers listed here. You can select the supplier from here. Then comes the restaurant service. So you want to order food from a particular restaurant. Now you are using some online app, Zomato, Swiggy, etc., to order those food. But again, remember, you have the app of the respective restaurant itself. If you are booking any food from the app of the restaurant itself, it will not be covered here. So in all these examples, I've given you real life examples, the names of the respective online apps which are getting covered over here, right? Yes, beta, please tell me.
So good evening.
Good evening. Tell me, beta.
So I didn't get the second point, which is for the omnibus. Like, what's that? I don't know.
Beta, what you did not get it. You understood first
Second
point.
point.
In
I
first,
got first point, but not second point.
so what you did not understand, that is what I'm asking. Beta, first and second are same. The difference is in first point you are booking what? Two-wheelers, three-wheelers, or cabs,
Yeah.
right? And in second point, you are booking a bigger vehicle, which is the bus.
Okay.
So let us say you want to go on a trip with your friends. So you'll need a bus. Na?
Okay. Yes, sir.
So when you will go to some app which will provide you those buses, omni buses, that is
Okay.
what is the second point.
So, like, this omnibus is a bus. Like, for
Yeah.
big. Okay, I got. So, one more thing, like, here it is mentioned many times, like, subsection 22 and then 1, and then subsection 22 and 1. So, what's that?
So beta, that is the section where which you will be studying in the registration chapter, which provides
Okay.
the, if you remember in many of our previous classes, we have discussed that if you are liable for register, if your turnover crosses a particular limit, you have to compulsorily get yourself registered, like, right? In
Yes,
fact, in
sir.
one of the classes, I gave you the limit also for service provider. Generally, it is 20 lakhs. Now, all
Yes.
these lists are given in 22 bracket 1. So 22 bracket
Okay.
1 is the section of registration which provides you the list of compulsory registration requirement.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Veerashi, you're right. But earlier, Dhanalakshmi, this present name is Urban Company. Earlier, when it was launched, it was Urban Clap. Now, maybe some time back, they have shifted it to Urban Company. Domino's is not covered, beta. You're right. Insta Swiggy is same. Blinkit is covered. Zeptos is covered. They are all housekeeping services apps. Yes.
Sir, page number 3.26 पर
सवाल पूछो
point
बेटा.
इंश्योरेंस एजेंट में एज अ इन दैट एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया है सर इसमें कि आरसीएम के अंडर जो भी सर्विस है उनके रिगार्डिंग जो
वो थोड़ा अभी आप बाद में पूछोगे. ये आपने मुझे स्टार्ट में क्यों नहीं पूछा? अभी मैं एक नए कॉन्सेप्ट में हूं ना बेटा. अभी बीच में पुराना मत पूछो प्लीज. कैन यू आस्क इट एट द लास्ट?
ओके सर ठीक
या यू शुड हैव आस्क्ड मी एट द स्टार्ट ना बेटा, व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड द टॉपिक. अब थोड़ा सा बाद में पूछो, वरना अभी वो अपन स्विच करेंगे तो बाकी लोगों को कंफ्यूजन होगा. फाइन.
ओके ठीक है.
नाउ what are some important points about this 9.5? So the tax on above services which are supplied through ECO has to be paid by the ECO. So the supplier is not paying, so it is not forward charge. Recipient, that is you who is using those services, is not paying, so it is not reverse charge. It is these apps who are required to pay the tax, right? So the apps who are providing services, but not all, only the services which are notified, specified under 9.5, right? Including restaurant services provided through ECO shall pay GST by furnishing the details in their form GSTR 3B. Just a minute, student. So these ECO who are going to provide the notified services will be providing or paying the tax on these services, and they will be furnishing the details of all these things in the returns. Now, what are the GST returns? Again, this you study in the returns chapter. So for the time being, you can ignore this part. Just you need to know that all these services which are taxable under 9.5, who is filing the returns, who has to do all the procedures? The ECO has to do the procedures. Now, some issues have been clarified here. What are the issues? ECO will not be collecting TCS in respect of restaurant services. Again, TCS is a separate chapter covered later. ECOs not required to take separate registration for paying tax of restaurant services supplied through them. Then ECO to pay tax on restaurant services supplied through them, and supply of restaurant services to be included in the turnover of the ECO, that is the turnover of the restaurant who is providing the service. So it is not treated as turnover of the ECO, it is treated as a turnover of the restaurant. Then restaurant services provided through ECO not to be considered as inward supply of ECO liable to RCM. And then ECO is liable for proportionate reversal of ITC. These are, students, some clarification, but I will request that you can very well ignore this part because they are very specific only to restaurant services. So you may ignore that particular part for the time being, because for understanding that part, you need to understand all other chapters like registration, return filing, TCS, then taxable turnover. So for the time being, you can ignore it. When all those chapters will be covered, that particular explanation or that particular clarification is much easy to understand. Now, person liable to pay GST in case of the notified services, the list of which we studied above, when these services are supplied through ECO. What is the rule? If the ECO is located in taxable territory. So students, whenever the word taxable territory is given, you should understand that they are talking about India. So where these online apps are situated in India, the app, that is the ECO, has to pay the tax. However, if these online apps do not have physical presence in India, in this case, The person liable to pay tax is the person who will be appointed by these online apps. So since the responsibility is put on the ECO, but the ECO itself is not present in India, like out of this Ola, Uber, one of the apps is a American company. It is an American app. Then in that particular case, they are supposed to appoint a person in India, and that person will be liable to pay the tax. Next, if the ECO has neither its own presence nor has appointed any representative in India, then what will happen? The person liable to pay tax will be the person appointed by the ECO for the purpose of paying tax. So either you have appointed a representative or you have to appoint a specific person who is only doing one thing, not doing anything else, but only doing one thing, that is paying tax. Now the next part that is given over here is classification. Students, what is classification? So we know that GST has to be paid at different rates. Now different rates, how will you decide your goods or services are falling in which rate, whether 0% or 5% or 18% or 40%? How will you decide this? So for this, you have to follow some steps. You have to follow some rules. That is what is called as classification. So classification is the process through which you will find out, you will identify under which category your goods or services fall, so that you can determine their tax rate. Now for this purpose, all the rates of GST are given, just visualize in a book. This book is called as the tariff. So all goods and services names are given in the book. It is called as tariff. There are 1 to 99 chapters in this book. The 99 chapter covers all services, and 1 to 98 chapter covers all goods. Now these chapters are grouped into sections, like how our module is classified into units, and each unit have few chapters. So similarly, the 98 chapters which are dealing with goods, few chapters which are similar are clubbed and they are called as sections, like how your few chapters are clubbed and called as units. Here few chapters are clubbed and called as sections. So section within section there are few chapters. Now every chapter has heading, subheading, like how right now we are also studying this chapter. This chapter is on charge of GST, and in this chapter right now we are studying the heading of classification, and within classification we are studying the subheading of classification of goods. So this is the main heading of one of the headings of this chapter which you are studying, and in that one minor heading is classification of goods. So main heading is classification, subheading is classification of goods, right? So this is how this entire book is divided, and in this book you will get the details of the rates of tax, and finding out where your goods or services fall in this book, that is what is called as classification. Now when we come to the service part, as I explained, all services are covered only in one chapter, which is number 99. So 99th chapter only covers, one chapter is given for covering services. Now since there are multiple services, within one chapter they have made categories. These categories are called as sections. So like within 99 chapter, section 5 is covering all types of construction service. Section 6 is covering different types of distributive services, accommodation services, food, beverage, etc. 7 is covering financial, 8 is covering business support, 9 is covering community, social, personal service. So this 99 chapter is then divided into different sections. So as I just explained, there are different rates prescribed for goods and services, and finding out the correct rate is what is called as classification. Now within this, again a sub point is when you come to real estate, that is when you are booking a flat or a shop or an office. Now firstly, go back to the previous chapter where you are buying or booking any completed flat or a building in which the flat is ready, the building is ready, no GST is applicable. Only when you are booking it under construction building, GST is applicable. Now here they have given you the rate of GST. Today presently, For residential flats, either the rate of GST is 1% or 5%. 1% if your house is a small house. Small means area-wise small. So in metro cities, the area is not exceeding 60 square meters, non-metro not exceeding 90 square meters, and the value is not exceeding 45 lakhs. Such houses are called as affordable houses. For such houses or flats, the rate is 5%. For all other houses or all other flats, the rate is 5%. Now, we come to a whole new concept, or you can say as good as a new chapter, called as composition levy or composition scheme. But before that, let me check what are your doubts. Harshal Beda, you can raise your doubt now, because now we will be closing this chapter of charge and we will be going to a new chapter which is within this chapter only, that is what is composition levy. So now you can raise your doubt. I'll clear your doubt now. Red bus is not covered under ECO, beta. Good point, Vaishnavi. Why they have separated A and B? That is why omnibus is separated, because earlier when this list was prepared, omnibus was not covered at all. It was only covering cabs and motorcycles. Later on, they felt the need to add omnibus, so they added a separate point. Ankita, sir, if the supplier registered under GST and giving service through ECO, then supplier will be liable to pay tax. Yes, beta. See, in two cases they have mentioned this. If you see, there are two cases where they have highlighted that where the supplier is liable for registration under 22(1). In those two cases, the supplier will be liable. But in remaining cases, this condition is not there. So in remaining cases, whether the supplier is registered or unregistered, the ECO only will be liable to pay tax. Why Domino's is not included? Beta, that is, see, firstly, Domino is itself a service provider, na? Is Domino's only an app, or is it itself selling its goods? Yes, Vaishnav, you are correct. You have correctly answered, Sridhar. Yes, Aditya, you have correctly answered. See, tariff is the name given for tax, Manisha. Yes, correct. Real estate, beta, means the construction sector. That is, you book these flats. So this industry which is in the construction of buildings is called as real estate sector, beta. Do we have to try remembering rates? Not at all. Please remember, students, rates are not at all to be remembered, but only for this real estate, just you have to remember these two rates. Vedant, sir, as if the flat is not completed and is it in process of completion, then will GST? No, beta, stamp duty and GST both are applicable. So when the flat is under construction, if I have understood your, I think there is some typo error. Vedant, but if I'm understanding it correctly, where the flat is under construction and you go and book the flat, over there GST, stamp duty both are applicable. Samiran says, sir, ECO, don't call beta ECO service. Call ECO means it is the app. So Zomato is the app, yes. Rashmi Kumari says it is self sale. What is this, beta? Beta Aditi, that is what is the point in this whole discussion. In 9(5), who is the person who is paying the tax? The ECO is the person who is paying the tax. So the responsibility to pay taxes on the ECO. Just beta, again, what you are bringing over here, I don't know. Engine combine. Did you get this list in our list of services, beta, that we studied? Firstly, what is engine combine service? Vedant Tiwari, sir, and after the flat is complete, the GST is not levy. Correct, you're right. But a NICA is not covered under 9(5). Manisha, are you buying goods or services from NICA? Yes, Vaishnav, you have answered correctly to Manisha. They are selling goods. But Rashmi, what is this? Domino is self-sale? But Domino's is a own business. It is a brand which is selling food items. Aditi, but after building is complete, there will be only stamp duty and registration charges. This is, I think, already pointed out by someone, I think Vedant. So after building is complete, there is no GST, it is only stamp duty. AMC services are not covered, Jesh. Yes, Harshal, now you can ask your question.
Hello, sir. Hello, I'm audible, sir.
Please ask your question, beta.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ऐसा था, जो एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया था आरसीएम के, जो एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया है उसमें पॉइंट नंबर सी एफ सॉरी इंश्योरेंस एजेंट पेज नंबर 3.26।
बोलिए, सवाल पूछिए।
सर उसमें के जो सेंटेंस दिया है सेक्शन 42 ऑफ द इंश्योरेंस एक्ट 1931 38 who receives agrees to receive payment way of commission or other remuneration in consideration of his soliciting or procuring insurance business including business related to do continuous renewal or renewal of policy of insurance। सर मुझे ये जो soliciting और procuring इंश्योरेंस बिजनेस जो इंक्लूडिंग बोला है कि हाँ इसके सेक्शन के अंडर आएगा, सो वो एक्सप्लेन कर
सवाल नहीं
सकते।
पूछा बेटा अभी तक आपने अभी तक सवाल ही नहीं पूछा बेटा। मेरे को सवाल पूछो, बी स्पेसिफिक व्हाट यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड।
सर एक पॉइंट में जो सॉलिसिटिंग और ब्रोकरिंग इंश्योरेंस बिजनेस दिया है तो उसका मीनिंग मुझे समझ में नहीं आया।
आपने डिक्शनरी यूज की बेटा? आपने
नहीं
चेक किया गूगल पे डिक्शनरी में मीनिंग? क्यों नहीं किया बेटा? आज तो इतना इजी है, आपको तो गूगल में टाइप करना है मीनिंग सॉलिसिटिंग। इनफैक्ट सॉलिसिटिंग के आगे वर्ड है और, इट मीन्स वो दोनों वर्ड्स का मतलब सेम होता है। बेटा प्लीज एवरीबॉडी डेवलप दिस हैबिट। आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम आंसरिंग any such question, but then how will you become a chartered accountant? You have to develop these basic habits of referring to dictionaries for understanding the meanings, क्योंकि कल आपको ऐसे सिर्फ मॉड्यूल में नहीं, आप जब किसी का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ोगे एज अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, आप जब बड़े बड़े डील्स में जाओगे तो देयर विल बी मेनी टर्मिनोलॉजीज, मेनी लैटिन वर्ड्स, मेनी लीगल वर्ड्स, जिसका मतलब आज मुझे भी नहीं मालूम है। तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, माई सिंपल थिंग इज आई गो टू डिक्शनरी। Now we are habituated referring to physical dictionaries, but now you all are having the comfort, आपको तो वो भी नहीं करना है, आपको तो सिर्फ गूगल करना है। फिलहाल आंसरिंग योर क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज सॉलिसिटिंग और प्रोक्योरिंग? एजेंट क्या करता है? एजेंट इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को बिजनेस लाके देता है, वो क्लाइंट को कन्विंस करता है पॉलिसी खरीदने को। कन्विंसिंग अ क्लाइंट इज सॉलिसिटिंग बिजनेस। सॉलिसिट करना मतलब किसी को वो बिजनेस का माल बेचना, किसी को कन्विंस करना वो माल खरीदने के लिए। तो एजेंट का काम ही यही है, इसलिए तो हम उसे एजेंट बोलते हैं बेटा।
ओके सर। सर यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल।
आई होप हर्षल बेटा योर डाउट इज क्लियर।
यस सर।
परफेक्ट। So let us now go to the next topic, which is composition scheme, composition levy. So students, let us understand what is this composition scheme, composition levy. Now, see, you have seen this section earlier also. Now, what is this? See, you are a businessman. Let me call you as a businessman or a taxpayer. Now, when you are doing business, the moment your business turnover exceeds a particular limit, what is this limit? I mentioned earlier also, so I'm repeating that. For services, it is 20 lakhs in all the major states. Goods, there are different limits, but I'm not going into the limits because that is not my point right now. That you'll study in detail in the registration chapter. But whenever your limit crosses that particular limit, section 22 bracket 1 gets triggered and it says now you are compulsorily required to take registration. That is, registration becomes applicable. Now, when registration becomes applicable, the law gives you a choice. What is the choice? I will write. Yesterday also I had mentioned this when we were discussing the RCM list and this composition word had come. If you believe that your business is going to remain small, small means again a turnover limit is given. If your business turnover is going to be below that limit, which we are going to study now, then you are called as a small dealer. If your turnover will exceed that limit, you are a regular dealer. So two types of dealers, a small dealer or a regular dealer. Now, until your turnover is below that limit, you come in the category of small dealer and the law gives you this option. So this is option, not compulsion. What is the option? If your turnover is below the limit, that is you are a small dealer, you may opt to be treated as a composition dealer. You may register yourself under the composition scheme, whereby you will get the benefits of being a small dealer. Secondly, even where your turnover is below the limit, you may still opt not to be treated as a small dealer, but to be treated as a regular dealer. So when you apply for registration, in registration chapter, you will study about the registration process, and in that, this option will be explained to you that when you cross the turnover, which is the minimum turnover, which once you cross like 20 lakhs for services, you are liable to take registration. At that time, you are given option. If you believe that you will be a small business and you want to be treated as a small dealer, you opt for this composition scheme, whereby you will be declared or you will be treated as a composition dealer, which means a small dealer. Or you may opt not to be treated as a composition dealer, that is a big dealer. But remember one thing, if your turnover is very high, there will be no option. By default, you will be a regular dealer. So firstly, this is the basic concept about what is a composition scheme. So composition scheme is basically a scheme which is designed for small businesses. So that now what will be this composition scheme? What is so special about this composition scheme? So composition scheme, which is designed for small businesses, is basically a scheme where what they have done, they have relaxed the compliances. Now you'll say, sir, what is compliance? Now see, whenever you are doing business and whenever you are covered under the GST law as a regular dealer, you have to strictly follow many provisions, like you have to maintain detailed books, then you have to issue detailed invoices for every transaction, then you have to monthly file returns. Now within that returns, some can file quarterly, but they are very few. Otherwise, remaining all have to monthly file the returns. And that also two returns monthly. What are those two returns monthly? GSTR 1, GSTR 3B. Plus, they have to file annual return. Within annual, there are two: GSTR 9, GSTR 9C. Then for every purchase or inward transaction, we have been studying the concept of input tax credit. They have to fulfill so many conditions, only then they get this input tax credit. So input tax credit appears to be a benefit, right? But it comes with lot of headache. Now a regular dealer has to take that headache of fulfilling those conditions, only then he can get the input tax credit benefit. Now all these are called as compliances. Now for a small business, doing all this is practically not possible. Now I always give you example of a simple business to understand composition scheme is your grocery shop or your milk man who comes to your doorstep for delivering milk. These are all example of small businesses. Now these are example of supplier of goods. Now I'll give you supplier of service examples. The barber shop or the salon or the spa or a small tuition coaching class. Now all these are examples of small businesses. Now for them doing all this, just imagine a kirana wala, a grocery shop. In a day, it has 100 plus people coming, and especially during the morning and evening hours, where people, before going to offices and schools, they require a lot many things, and after coming from offices for evening dinners and all, they require so many things. People buy small things, starting from 1 rupee, 2 rupee chocolate, up to 5-10 rupees, some biscuit, then bread, then butters, then egg, then so many things. Many times a single person comes with a big list, and there are people standing in queue. Now just visualize that grocery shop. For that small businessman, it is highly impossible to maintain proper detailed books, give invoices with complete details. See, many of them are not even using computers for preparing their invoices. You have seen this. Go out and you will see this. See, understand business so that you'll understand taxation. So for them, doing all these compliances is difficult. So what does composition scheme do? Composition scheme reduce all this compliance burden. It makes it simple. That is what is composition scheme. Now, first, what simple it has done. Now, see, these people have to issue detailed invoices. Now, let us again, same example, grocery shop. You go to the shop, you buy multiple things. You buy raw eggs, you buy bread, you purchase butter, cheese, you buy curd, etc. So many things you buy at one time. Now, these things are carrying different rates of GST. Now, at least after 22nd September, many of the rates have been removed. So now we have only few rates, but earlier we had 6-7 rates. Now there are only 0%, 5%, 18%, and 40%. Earlier there was 12% also. There was 28% also. So it is highly impossible for that person to maintain the prepare the invoice giving separate rates for separate goods. But that is what is required by a regular businessman. So if you're a regular dealer, you will have to do it. But here, what these people have to do, they are given a single rate for all their goods. If they are providing service, then for all their services, they are given a single rate. So first, what simplification I've done? Here they have to do it detailed. For every goods or service, whatever is the actual rate, you have to take that rate. Here I have given them single rate. We call it as the composition rate. So now whatever you are selling, actual rate may be 0, actual rate may be 5, actual rate may be 28, actual rate may be 40, it may be 18, it may be 12, whatever. You will not charge the actual rate, you will charge our rate, the rate which we give you, which is called as the composition rate. Then, as we saw here, they have to file monthly 2 returns plus annual returns at times 2. Here, no monthly returns. Only they have to make quarterly payment. So return also not to be filed quarterly also. Quarterly only payment is to be done. So they don't have to file monthly returns or quarterly returns. They only have to make quarterly payment, and they have to file only one annual return. Form number is GSTR 4. So here these people every month are filing 2 returns plus annual. So just count the number of returns these people are filing. Plus they have to do all this jamela. Here I have given them single rate and I have said that do one thing, no ITC. Because for taking ITC, you have to fulfill many conditions. It is even more complicated to take ITC, use the benefit of ITC. So what we have done, we have given them a single rate, which is a reduced rate, a lower rate. And we have also removed their ITC benefit. But why? Because we have reduced their rate and we have given them single rate and we want to actually simplify. See, on inward transaction, taking ITC is very, very difficult in GST. That you'll study in the ITC chapter and you'll come to know. So we have relieved them of that burden also. Correct? Big basket belongs to small business. Okay. So, beta Aditya, big basket itself is a big business, beta. It is not small business. Akash Mandal, you are asking a very good question. Rate of composition. Beta, let me give you the basics first. We are going to study every minute thing in composition scheme. But if I give you the overall overview, it will be easy for you to understand. So please allow time, right? We will reach the rate part also, Akash Mandal. Now, yes, Manisha beta.
सर आपने ये जो बताया ना कि रिड्यूस रेट पे सप्लायर को मतलब टैक्स मतलब देना पड़ता है गवर्नमेंट
Correct,
को,
beta.
राइट? तो सर ये मैं एक एग्जांपल से समझना चाहती हूँ. फॉर एग्जांपल एक तरफ है छोटा सप्लायर किराना स्टोर वाला.
बेटा उसको एक ही रेट दिया है, द रेट इज 1%, खत्म. आप कुछ भी बेचो पूरे किराना शॉप में, आपको 1% लगाना है. कितना इजी काम कर दिया. अगर वही
ओके.
वो रेगुलर डीलर होता तो उसे 0%, 5%, पहले के टाइम में तो 12 भी था, 18, 28, 40, उसको हर गुड्स पे अलग रेट थे. और आप ही जो जाओगे उसके पास, आपने अगर रॉ एग खरीदा तो वो 0% है, आपने ब्रेड वगैरह खरीदा तो 12% है, आपने कुछ और खरीदा वो 5% है, आपने कोल्ड ड्रिंक खरीदा वो 28% है. वो बेचारे के लिए तो इट वॉज हेडेक.
यस सर.
सो उसको
तो
इजी कर दिया. अभी कोई कुछ भी लेके जाए पूरे बिल पे 1% पे करना है, तो इजी काम हो गया ना उसके लिए.
यस सर. तो सर अगर इसकी जगह डीमार्ट होगा तो उसको अलग अलग रेट्स पे मतलब देना
बेटा
पड़ेगा.
डीमार्ट, पहली बात, वो छोटा बिजनेस है या बड़ा बिजनेस है, उसका टर्नओवर, अभी हम
बड़ा.
पढ़ने वाले टर्नओवर का लिमिट, उसका डेफिनेटली टर्नओवर कम तो नहीं रहेगा, वो तो हाई टर्नओवर में आने वाला है.
यस सर.
खत्म. तो उसके लिए तो कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम है ही नहीं, वो रेगुलर है. रेगुलर है तो उसे सब कुछ करना है जो जिस रेट का है. इसीलिए तो सी उनके पास कैसे, डीमार्ट को देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम, दे हैव देयर ओन सिस्टम्स. उनके पास सॉफ्टवेयर से वो सॉफ्टवेयर सब कुछ करता है. आप जब बिलिंग काउंटर पे जाते हो, वो आदमी कुछ नहीं करता, वो आपके सारे गुड्स को स्कैन कर लेता है, क्यूआर कोड को, बार कोड को, और अपने
यस
आप उसका सॉफ्टवेयर पूरा बिल बना देता है. बट बेटा वो सब पॉसिबल है बिकॉज बिजनेस बड़ा है, वो उतने सारे एम्प्लॉयज रख सकता है, वो सॉफ्टवेयर खरीद सकता है. आप किराना वाला तो बेचारा कितनी बार ऐसा होता है उसके घर के लोग ही उधर काम करते हैं, अ
यस
सिंगल
सर.
पर्सन इज रनिंग. तो हम उनके लिए कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम लाए, क्योंकि उनके लिए ना मे बी एम्प्लॉयज रखना पॉसिबल है, ना सॉफ्टवेयर खरीदना पॉसिबल है. सो एक काम करो, सब पे एक ही रेट दे दो, इजी.
ओके सर. तो सर इससे मतलब गवर्नमेंट को थोड़ा लॉस नहीं होगा मतलब उनको?
कितना लॉस होगा बेटा, इसीलिए तो छोटे बिजनेस के लिए रखा है ना. छोटा बिजनेस वाले से वैसे भी टैक्स कितना आना था.
यस सर. ओके सर,
उल्टा
गॉट इट.
गवर्नमेंट के लिए उल्टा ये इजी है, क्योंकि देखो एक चीज समझो, when I make the taxation law complicated, what will happen? Either people will avoid tax. तो लोग वैसे टैक्स की चोरी करते थे.
यस
जब
सर.
उसको लगेगा यार इतना डिफिकल्ट है तो जान दो, नहीं भरते. जब देखेंगे कोई आया तो, और कहा कितने गवर्नमेंट कितने लोगों को पकड़ पाएगा. सेकंड, अगर बेचारा कोई ईमानदारी से करना भी चाहता है और कल गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर को उसको चेक भी करना है, तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर के लिए भी सोचो ना, जितना मेरे लिए, मैं एक छोटा किराना शॉप हूँ, मेरे लिए जितना हर बिल में डिटेल लिखना डिफिकल्ट है, कल ऑफिसर चेक करने आएगा तो उसको भी तो एक एक बिल में 5 रुपए की चीज, 10 रुपए की चीज, 25 रुपए की चीज, हर एक का टैक्स रेट अलग, उसके लिए कितना डिफिकल्ट होगा चेक करना.
यस सर, गॉट इट. थैंक यू.
तो गवर्नमेंट का कोई नुकसान नहीं बेटा, उनके लिए भी
यस सर.
बेनिफिट ही है, क्योंकि ये छोटे बिजनेस को ही है ना, बड़े बिजनेस वालों को तो है ही नहीं.
यस सर.
यस माइथिली बेटा.
Yes, sir. You explaining composition rate. This composition rate and the tax rate, 18%. That both are same or not, sir?
नो बेटा, दे आर नॉट सेम ना. See, regular tax. Why is there echo, beta? You have two systems on. Good. So regular rates are the 0, 5. Earlier it was 12 also, then 18. Earlier it was 28 also, and 40. Whereas composition, I just explained to someone just now, they have given you one rate. We are going to study the rate. So you have to pay tax by that one rate only. Correct? You may unmute and ask if you have a question still.
Yes, sir. Now I'm audible, sir.
You are audible now.
Yes, sir. Composition rate yesterday or last class you said the composition scheme and composition levy both are different
No,
or
I did not
same.
say this. I did not say this. Why my voice is echoing at your end? Have you put on two systems? It is better now. So I am saying yesterday I said don't mix between composite supply, which you studied in the previous chapter. Don't mix it with composition scheme or composition levy. Composition scheme, composition levy, these are parallel words. But don't mix it with composite supply. Composite supply where you make a combo offer of 3-4 items together. You supply 3-4 items together in one package. That is what is a combo offer, which will be either composite or mixed supply. This we studied in the previous chapter. So yesterday I said don't mix these two things. Correct? Ask your question, Maithili.
Okay, sir, understood. I will listen to the class.
Okay. Now, please unmute, beta. Please mute yourself. I don't know why today your system is echoing. Whatever I'm saying, it is repeating. Now people are putting good questions, but I'm not understanding why they are putting these questions. Like firstly, Akash Mondal had asked me rate of composition. Now Gaurav is asking me, can they change in future? Then somebody's asking me whether pan masala is covered in the scheme. Students, I have not yet started explaining. I want to first make you understand what is composition scheme, how it is different. So let I give you the overview. All these questions are answered in next 10 minutes. Whether they can do interstate supply or not. Correct? Now somebody's asking what is 9C, but I've already explained that it is an annual return. Now, if you ask me how it works, so better you'll have to wait till the returns chapter comes. I cannot explain it here because if I start explaining it here, neither you will understand nor anybody else will understand. Second best thing, if you are very much eager in understanding how it works, how you file the returns, Aditya, I think it is Aditya's question, but I'll tell you the best way to do this. Visit your nearby CA office. Definitely your parents or somebody in your relative would themselves be CA or they would be knowing a CA. You just take the CA's appointment and time, request them to ask somebody in the office to show you all these things practically. So you'll understand everything. This we will be doing in our class also, but only when that respective topic comes. Okay? Okay. So this is the difference. So a regular business has to do so many things, which is troublesome, which is possible only when you have separate accounting employee, you have a separate person who is only doing GST in your office, you have proper softwares, which is not possible for small businesses. So for them to reduce the compliance, to make the compliance simple, that is, make all these complicated things simple, like they are given one single rate, which is a reduced rate, no taking of ITC, so that janjat is removed, no filing of monthly or quarterly returns, only quarterly they have to go and make payment, and they have to only file one return in the year. So all these things make the work easy for these businesses so they can run the business. That single person who is the owner of the business, many times they are proprietors, they are family businesses, but small businesses. I've given you example of them. Please see the business. You'll understand what problems I'm talking about. So to make it easy for them, we have this optional scheme. So again, I repeat, this optional scheme is applicable when your turnover exceeds the registration criteria, which is, let us say, 20 lakhs for service, 40 lakhs for goods, but I am not explaining these turnovers right now. That you'll study in the registration chapter. Once you exceed that, you have to compulsorily take registration. Now, you are given a choice if your turnover is going to remain below the composition limit. What is this composition limit? We will study today in next few minutes. So below the composition limit, if your turnover is going to stay, you can register yourself as a composition dealer. Composition dealer means you want to be treated as a small dealer, so you want to get all the relaxation in compliances. Now, once you want to be a composition dealer, that is, you want to be covered under composition scheme. Now there are two parts in the scheme. First is under section 10 bracket 1 and 2. And the second, now see, you can say these are two types of composition schemes or two parts of the scheme. Now 10 bracket 1, 10 bracket 2 is the first part, 10 bracket 2 is the second part. Now what does the first part covers? The first part covers manufacturers, traders, and restaurants and caterers. Students, please bear patience. Virashri, your question I will answer. It is again a good question, beta. This is what I have started explaining. Please allow me some time. I will reach firstly to the details of the scheme, and then towards the end, if this question is not answered, you definitely may ask this question. But right now, allow me to proceed. So, why these two parts? Because originally when the composition scheme was brought, it was brought only for these peoples, manufacturer, traders, and within service only two persons, restaurants and caterers. It was not for all other service providers. Like I gave example of a salon. I gave example of a coaching class. Correct. These are small businesses, but into which category? Service sector. Even a newly started CA firm who have just crossed 20 lakhs, but their total turnover is below the composition limit. So all these small businesses, what they are doing? They are mainly service providers. Now, earlier when this scheme, or in the original law, when you read, it was made only for this category. Now, they have made another part in the scheme and they have added this category also. Now I'm giving you that single rate which people were asking. Na? Manufacturer have to pay tax at a single rate of 1% on what all goods they manufacture. For everything 1%. Traders 1%. Restaurant people 5%. And any service, any of the services 6%. So these are the composition rates. Now just to inform you something in detail, because many times it may happen that you may come across some book, some material online where some old rate is given. Here earlier 2% was applicable. Earlier in the original scheme, now this is removed. Now manufacturers also pay at the rate of 1% only. So I will strike out like this. So earlier, one second, I want to strike out in a fashion that you should also be able to see. So firstly, let me write it more clearly. So originally when the law was made, initially manufacturers were given rate of 2%. However, later on they removed this 2% rate for manufacturers And now manufacturers also are coming in 1%. So if you're a manufacturer trader, you come in 1% case, right? 1%, 1%. Restaurants, 5%. And all other services which are covered in this second scheme or the new scheme, which is for service providers, 6%. Now pay attention. Manufacturers have an excluded category, excluded goods. So if you are manufacturer of some specific goods, again, please don't ask me the names. When we will study the scheme, all these things will be covered. I'm firstly giving you the broad picture. It is like how in school we used to make drawing, we used to first make the outer part. Then we used to start, like if you have to draw a tree, what are you will draw? You will first draw the bark and the overall round tree. Then small leaves, and within bark you will make the shapes. The same thing I'm doing. So firstly I gave you the outer picture. Now I'm giving you the inner picture, and then we are going to fill in colors. So every leaf also some dark color, some light color, different shapes. Everything we will do step by step. So don't ask me who are the excluded category, that we will study. So some manufacturers who are of certain goods, they are excluded from the scheme. That is, they cannot come under the scheme. Now, again, initially, this old scheme or original scheme was completely earlier excluding services. Completely. What is this? Means you should be manufacturer, traders of purely goods, and only one service, that is restaurant or catering. If you provided any other service, you were not allowed to be part of composition scheme. This was the original rule. However, again, now in this, I will say services up to some limit allowed. So what is the point? Now, even under this original scheme, where you are a manufacturer or a trader, you can provide services also up to some limit. But originally, when the scheme was made, it said that services cannot be provided. If you are providing services, no composition scheme. But later on, they found that this is impossible. So even for manufacturers and traders, they said if you are providing services up to some limit, you are still allowed, you will still be covered. Means you will be treated as a manufacturer only, trader only, but you can provide some small services. Like, I'll give you practical example. If you go to any this grocery shop, you will find that there are advertisements put of different products. Now, what does this shopkeeper do? It allows big companies to put advertisements in his shop by charging nominal rent of 5,000, 2,000, 1,000. Many times you'll see the shutters of these shops painted with some company's brand logo, like Airtel's brand logo is painted, or some India Cement brand, this is painted. So the point is, this is done by these small traders as small extra income of renting. So these companies are doing their marketing by putting some painting their shutters with the brand logo, or putting the boards of their company's products or brands, and the trader is charging them nominal rent. So these traders were also providing some services of renting. Now, the original composition scheme which was made did not allow you to provide any service. So what was happening? These traders were thrown out of the composition scheme. Why? Because they were providing some services. So now that is allowed. And interestingly, this new scheme, which is now made exclusively for services, what if these people are also providing goods? They are allowed. So it is not that this other new scheme under 10(2)(a) will cover only services. Yes, it is made for service providers, but let us say I am a coaching class, for example. So I'm a service provider, but I'm also selling books. So I'm selling some goods. Our common example, I'm a salon. So I'm a service provider, but today many of the salons sell you some of the beauty creams, some of the lotions, some of the this hair gels, right? So they are also selling goods. They are allowed to be covered under this scheme. So now, slowly, steadily, understanding the practical challenges, they allowed in the first scheme services to be provided, but up to some limit. And in the second scheme, which is actually made for service providers, they said that you can also sell goods along with providing services. Still, you will be covered in this one rate only. So that is the best part. You do two things also, like goods plus service, you are only required to pay one rate. So it is making them simple compliance. It is making it easy for them to run business and also pay GST. So this is what is the broad ideology of GST. Students, Maithili, you asked me what is the last date of GSTR 9. Students, see, I appreciate you all asking the question, but you all should also understand that if I start answering these questions now, this chapter will go for a toss. So I always request that keep your doubts limited to this chapter. I know as a student you have doubts, but you can do one thing. See, start using slightly your at your end. Keep with this doubts written somewhere. Maybe you can check that chapter. You can go to our module, check that chapter. You'll directly get the answer. But if I start answering here, see, you got a doubt on GST and I'll answer you. Somebody will get a doubt on valuation. I'll answer that. Somebody will get a doubt on ITC. I'll answer that. What will happen? You will get confused because you are hearing so many answers of so many chapters. मुजाहिद को sound नहीं आ रहा है. Am I not audible? Mujahid says, sir, your voice is not coming to me. But I don't think. Okay, good. Perfect. Good, good, good. So students, I request you ask me any question. But if I start answering any question and every question, it will be very difficult for you all, everybody to understand. Because you will have your doubt which you will understand, but you will not understand when I start answering everybody's doubts. It will be difficult even for you. So kindly limit yourself to that topic. Yes, if there is anything conceptual, you can ask me any conceptual question. But don't ask me such questions like, sir, what is the due date of GSTR 9? Sir, what is the process of filing 9C? Please explain input tax credit in detail. That is not correct question at this point. Fine. No problem, Maithili. That is fine. So whenever I unmute you, you ask your question, you immediately mute yourself when I'm answering because it is echoing. So I think it is echoing for everyone. Yes, John Mohammed, you are right. So when you are in composition scheme, even though the actual rate of the goods may be 18, 40, whatever, you will charge it at the composition rate. Yes, just beta, if the dairy shop person is in composition scheme, whatever cheese, butter, curd, whatever they supply, they are paying tax at the rate of 1% because they are traders of these products. Fine, Josh? Perfect. So now somebody had this query, what are the rates? Now I've explained the rates. Please don't ask me what is the limit of service. That I will explain. Now, if you have any conceptual queries, doubts, please ask. Yes, Aditi.
So I'm not getting that what services a manufacturer provides.
But I just gave example, renting service. See, I'm a manufacturer. I have a big space. Some space is lying idle. I give it to you
Okay.
on rent. Is it not a service? It is a
Yeah, it's
service.
a service.
See, in business, what happens, beta? Even if you are doing business X, as a
Okay.
businessman, see, ultimately, what is your goal? Your goal is earning money. So
Yeah.
no businessman limit itself to only one area. It also goes to other areas wherever it feels I am able to earn. Like renting is the most common example of service which many businesses do. I gave you
Yeah.
example of these shopkeepers. You will find in the shops, like I'll give you a simple example. You go to any grocery shop, the nameplate of the shop is actually a big board, a light board, right? A neo sign board,
Yeah.
and it is of
Yes.
some brand company, Dalda company, or some company, and only that only small name of that shopkeeper is written, right?
Okay.
But a
Okay.
big board, a big light board, you go to any grocery shop, you will find a big light board put which is of some company brand. with the
But sir,
brand name
that
and
is
all.
related to the trader now, not to the
So I gave you
manufacturer.
example. So I gave you example of manufacturer also. Na same renting. Manufacturer can also do so many things. It can give it premises on rent. So I am having a factory place, and many of my places idle. So you want a small corner of my factory for storing your goods. I have given you it on rent. Very common
Okay,
example.
okay, got it, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Akhila is asking if there is a provision store we buy, the shopkeeper delivered home. It is a composite. Yes, correct. So where shopkeepers deliver you at home, it is a composite supply of goods, including the transportation service. But generally, they say that we are providing this free. Vedant, but I just said I'm going to explain all this, and please don't ask me. Still, you are asking the same question. I just said, ki please don't ask me what is the limit up to which service is provided because that is going to be answered. Karan, but all restaurants can come under composition, even AC restaurants. Correct, Karan? So if your turnover is within the limit, you can be covered. Okay, so I think now you all are impatient with knowing the scheme. So let me take you the scheme. See, this is the section. So you have subsection 1, subsection 2, which is the original scheme. Then later on, they added 2A for the service providers. And then 3, 4, 5 are already there, which contains different conditions. But instead of reading from this section, because you also have many rules and you need to parallelly understand. So let me go to the detailed analysis. So firstly, as I said, this scheme is optional. So it is not that if you are in the small category of taxpayer, you have to always do it. You are given this choice that even if you are a small taxpayer and if you want simple and less compliance work, you can opt for the composition scheme. Now, originally, as I said, the first original scheme was under section 10 bracket 1 and 2, which was only for three persons, manufacturer, traders, and restaurant or caterers. Then they brought in the second scheme, which is called a scheme for service provider under 2A, right? Now, what is the rate and all? Here they have given the rates, but let us not read it from here. We have detailed explanation given further. Then they brought the second scheme, which is called as scheme for service providers, where the rate is 6%. But again, in detail, we'll study. This scheme was brought under 10-2A. Now, I've already explained that above, right? Now, what is the main purpose? Compliances are easy. No need to maintain detailed accounts. No need to prepare detailed records like invoice. Simple, only one return throughout the year. And quarterly also no return, only you need to pay tax. I've already explained all this, correct? So, broadly, there are two schemes. First scheme covers manufacturers, traders, and restaurant plus caterers. Second scheme covers service providers. This is how two schemes are crafted. Now we start answering your questions. Now, who can be under which scheme? Right? This is already answered. These people will be under the original scheme, which is under 10.1, 10.2, and these people will be under the new scheme, which is under 10.2A. Now, I will explain it to you in a tabular comparison form. So we are talking about composition, composition dealers. So now you have opted for being a small dealer and get the benefit of reduced compliance, right? But in that, there are two schemes. Original one under 10.1, 10.2, and the new one under 10.2A. Now, firstly, who is covered? Manufacturers, excluding some goods, right? Please don't ask me which one. When the time comes, you will get to know. Traders and restaurants, caterers. Who is covered here? Service providers. And plus, as I said earlier, you can also sell goods, but mainly you are service provider. Now comes the turnover limit. The annual turnover should not exceed rupees 1.5 CR. So how the category or the small dealer is decided? So it should not exceed 1.5 CR. Here, your annual turnover again should not exceed rupees 50 lakhs. So for service providers, the maximum turnover up to which they can remain in composition or they can be treated as small dealers is 50 lakhs. And for all these people, manufacturer, trader, restaurants, etc., up to 1.5 CR. Correct? This is what is given in the turnover limit. Now, whenever we'll talk about turnovers, even in other chapters, you will find this. There are some states who are called as special category states. Now, the names of these special category states are given. What is special about them? Special about them is in every chapter, whenever you will see turnover, like in the registration chapter and all other chapters also, wherever turnover point will come, these people are everywhere given the choice of having a reduced turnover. Like for everyone else, it is 1.5 CR. But for these people under 10.1, they are given a reduced turnover limit of 75 lakhs. So I just mentioned 1.5 CR. I will write 75 lakhs. But wait, I'll write in a different color so that you will remember that this is not for everyone. It is only for some states which come under special category. So rupees 75 lakhs. So for special category states, the maximum turnover limit up to which you can be under composition, you can be treated as a small dealer is 75 lakhs, and for all other states it is 1.5 CR. Fine? Clear? Understood? Hope everything clear up to this point. Now, besides these 8 states, there are other states also who are coming in special category. But special category states always have a choice that if they want, they can continue to be under the regular limits of turnover. So these 8 states only have opted for lower limits of turnover. But there are 3 more states which are under special category: Assam, Himachal, JK. They have opted for being under the 1.5 turnover limit only. So finally, what is the point? The aggregate turnover in case of special category states, but except these 3, is 1.5 CR for being under the composition scheme, right? And these 8 special category states have opted for a lower limit of 75 lakhs. So this is explained here in this particular diagrammatic form. Okay. Then for 2A, that is for service providers, I have already written the limit is 50 lakhs and it is applicable to all. That is, here there is no separate limit for special category states. For them also it is 50 lakhs only. Now, this aggregate turnover means what? Because you have to calculate the turnover to decide that whether can you be treated as a small dealer. So they will say all the supplies that you are making, taxable, exempt, import, export, interstate, everything will be counted to determine your turnover. In short, all outward supplies are counted. In what? In your aggregate turnover. What is not counted is where you are the recipient and you are paying tax under RCM. Now, when you are paying tax under RCM, it is on your inward supplies. So obviously inward will not be counted. because turnover always means outward, but still they have clarified that inward will not be counted. Secondly, where your supplies or turnovers have the GST component, you have to always take the turnover without GST. So taxes, all taxes have to be excluded to determine your turnover. In short, we see the turnover before tax. This is again a logical point that you understand. So again, it is explained in diagrammatic form that while determining any of these limits, you have to count all your outward supplies, all types. But what will be excluded? The tax portion and those inward supplies on which tax is payable under RCM. Now, besides this, there is one outward supply which will be excluded. What is that outward supply? So many times, these small businesses, what they do, they keep their money in bank in saving account, or whenever there are savings, they transfer it to FD. And on these FDs and all, they get interest. So the interest that they earn is to be excluded while computing these limits. So here I will mention that when we are counting this annual turnover, in both cases, so this point is common, all outward supplies excluding interest on loan or deposits that you may be earning is considered. So now see, this point I have written commonly because it is commonly for both the points. I'll just make some colored this for them so that it will be easy for you to recognize that where I put any such type of colored, this colored box, that is a common point. In fact, after these few points, later on all points will be common to both. So the turnover for both the categories of composition scheme I have given, the maximum turnover 1.5 CR and 50 lakhs. How this turnover will be counted? It will count only outward supplies. And in outward supplies, if you are earning interest on loans or deposit, that is not to be counted. Clear, students? Rates, I've already given the rates. So the rates are this. Now, why again here 0.5% is given? Please understand, because we are studying CGST Act. But I've already given you the rates. The rate is 1%, 5%, right? And it is 6%. Here you will find half, 2.5 half. This is for 10.1. And for 10.2, you have 3.3. Why? Because it is 6%. Correct? Yes, beta Nisha. Nisha, मैंने आपको unmute किया है बेटा. You can ask me your question.
You can tell, sorry, short way you can tell what is outward supply.
बेटा आपके सेल्स पीएनएल देखा है आपने? ट्रेडिंग पीएनएल के क्रेडिट साइड में आप सेल्स लिखते हो ना, आप रेंटल इनकम लिखते हो, आप इंटरेस्ट लिखते हो, तो जो भी आप कमा रहे हो दैट इज आउटवर्ड सप्लाई, जो भी आपको मिल रहा है दैट इज आउटवर्ड सप्लाई, और पीएनएल डेबिट साइड पे जो कुछ भी होता है आपके सारे खर्चे दैट इज इनवर्ड सप्लाई.
ओके,
सिंपल है.
यस.
I'm writing the rates. Manufacturer 1%, trader 1%. Okay, I'll write it in a different manner. This because again there is something special in this. Okay, so I'll write more detailed. So what are the composition rates? A manufacturer has to pay 1%. A trader has to pay 1%. Restaurant, caterer has to pay 5%. But there is something special which I will be writing here later. And here the rate on services plus if there are goods by chance is 6%. You will find the rates here instead of 1 and 1, it will be half and half. You will find in the module here 2.5 and here 3%. Why? Because we are studying one act, GST Act. So half rates are given. Bhavani beta, you are saying I have some practical doubts about 9 and 9C. May I ask? I really don't understand beta. Do you think it will be correct if I answer your doubts at this point of time? It will not be na beta. Sir, I don't understand interest on loan or others. Tell me beta Vedant, what you don't understand. I'll give you example. See, you have extra money. I just gave example. What these small businesses do, they have saving bank account. Is saving bank not giving them interest? Yes, it is giving. Then if they get more extra money which they don't require, they will put it in fixed deposit. Will they not earn interest on that? Yes. Second, many times these people, they give simple loans to any relatives or someone and they charge them interest. That is what is interest. So many times on your P&L credit side, see, try to go back to accounts. On your P&L credit side, you have sales as your main source of revenue, but you have some minor sources like rent, like interest. So interest will be excluded. That is the point, Vedant. Correct? Aditi, you also had the same doubt. I hope it is clear. Then Lakshmi, small business registered as regular business voluntary can now they change to composition. Better that will come. Changing is allowed, but subject to some restrictions will come to that. Samiran, beta, what I have to repeat? The rate is written in front of you. You tell me what I will repeat. You said, sir, please repeat the rate of service. I repeat, it is 6%. Now tell me what new you understood. Please don't ask such questions. Ki repeat. Specify what you have not understood. The rate is written in front of you. Beta, 6% I have written. Now you say, sir, please repeat. It is written in front of you. If you have a doubt in understanding, please ask specific question. Samiran, when you say repeat, what it means? I don't get. So beta Samiran asked this. This is now correct question. Ki sir, what if the goods are sold along with service? This is the perfect question. So the answer is here, whether you sell goods along with service, once you are covered in 10-2A, who is covered in 10-2A? I've already said earlier also. See, this is where concepts are important. So you are mainly a service provider like this. So example is you are a salon. So what you are giving is service, but along with that, you are selling those products, skincare products, hair care products. So that is goods. But what you will be covered under is 10-2A because you are mainly a service provider. Now here for both, for your salon service plus the products that you are selling for both, the rate is 6%. See, now this is how when you ask specific question, you also understand and I also understand. Aditya beta, rate for gold is right now 3% for GST. Okay? So anyways, gold people need not come under composition scheme because they are better off. They are already having 3%. Plus, even if they want to come, the problem is limit is only 1.5% for supplier of goods. And in gold, maybe one necklace sold is more than 1.5 crores today. Or maybe not one necklace, but at least in a day, they aram se will sell 1.5 CR because today the gold rates are so high. Even when the gold rates were low, their 1 crore, 1.5 crore is easily crossed in a month. So anyways, gold people will not be getting the benefit of composition scheme because they will very easily cross the maximum turnover limit. Fine. Now see, there is another concept. One is annual turnover. The other concept is turnover of a state. Now it makes no difference what they are referring to because for both the definition is same. What is same? Annual turnover or aggregate turnover also mean what? All supplies, right? Excluding what? The GST portion, the inward supplies which is under RCM and also the interest, right? Now what is interesting over here in turnover of state is only one point. That is this. This is where I said I will write something again. So while computing the turnover in a state, now what is turnover in a state? It is the turnover on which you have to pay tax, right? Other than manufacturer and restaurant service providers, that is traders, exempt supplies will not be taken. So in short, now I'll explain. So manufacturer has to pay 1% on what? On total. Total means taxable plus exempt. Similarly, restaurant is also paying 5% on total. Total is what? Taxable plus exempt. But trader, 1% only on taxable turnover. This is the difference. This is the difference. Lohit beta, it is mainly interest income only which is excluded. And you get interest only on any investment. But if you are asking me specifically what is excluded from turnover, it is only interest. Sir, some businesses providing rental service can also opt for a compensation scheme. Yes, John Mohammed, I gave you recently an example that even these people, traders, if they are falling under 10.1, they can provide rental service and they will be covered in 10.1. And let us say you are only providing purely rental service, then come in 10.2A because 10.2A is for service provider and renting is a service. So if you are mainly manufacturer trader and providing renting service, come here. If you are exclusively providing renting service only, that is you are only a service provider of renting service, come under 10.2A. Yes, Aditi, this is what is important. So what is important is here 1% is on total. So even on exempted turnover, a manufacturer and a restaurant service provider will be required to pay tax of their composition. That is what is important to be kept in mind. Understood? Now this list, which is common to both. So I'm not writing down this whole list. Then I will write here excluded. Excluded persons from composition scheme. This is, you refer this page. So I'm just writing down the page number so that I don't have to repeat. Refer module page 3.59. Now, who all are not allowed to come in composition scheme? First, suppliers engage in making those supplies which are not leviable to tax. So this is common. Like, I'll give you example, petrol, diesel, then this liquor, all these are outside GST, they're not leviable to tax. So if you are supplying any of these things, you cannot come under composition. Second, if you are making interstate outward supplies, again it is common. So interstate outward supplies, not covered in composition. It means you have to only make supplies within your state, then only you can come for composition scheme. Most important, if you are providing your services through electronic commerce operator, if you are providing services through electronic commerce operator, you cannot come under composition scheme. So who is excluded? Providing services through electronic commerce operator. Then, as I said, certain manufacturers are excluded. Manufacturer of ice cream, pan masala, tobacco, soft drinks, fly ash bricks, fly ash aggregate, fly ash blocks. These are different types of construction material. Bricks, fossils, fossil meals, all these are excluded. Same is excluded here. Manufacturer of notified goods. or supplier of notified service. No services are notified yet, but these goods are notified. So if you are manufacturer of any of these goods, not allowed. Next, if you are a casual taxable person, who is casual, you will study in registration chapter. For the time being, I am only reading the same name. I am not explaining what it is. In registration chapter, you will study. So if you are a casual taxable person or a non-resident taxable person, so it is in short called as CTP, NRTP, not allowed. Correct? And if you are supplying service exceeding the limit, which we are going to discuss below, as I said, now this people who are covered in the first composition scheme of traders, manufacturers, they are now allowed to provide service up to some limit. What is that limit? That we are going to study. But above that limit, if you are providing service, you cannot be covered under the composition scheme. What is Aditya 28%? You said it comes to 28%. What is coming to 28%, Aditya? Right, students? Now, these people who are covered in the original scheme under 10.1, 10.2, as I mentioned at the start, originally they were not allowed to provide service. Later on, they are allowed to provide marginal. Marginal means some quantum of service. Now, what is this some quantum of service that they are allowed to provide? So in a year, maximum they can provide this much service. 10% of the total turnover or service of rupees 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. So up to a certain limit, service is allowed. Now I'm giving that limit. So somebody was asking earlier. So firstly, I'll just fill in my blanks, excluding, right? Ice cream, pan masala, tobacco, then fly ash, bricks, etc. Correct? And now the next point, service up to how much is allowed? 10% of turnover or rupees 5 lakhs. Out of both, whichever is higher. This is what is allowed under the composition scheme. Is this clear, students? Understood by all? Now, again coming to some common points. What are these common points? Some common conditions and restrictions. So again, common conditions, restrictions. Again, I will say refer module page. What is this page? 3.6263. So I will say 3.62 onwards. Simple. Yes, Nisha beta.
So these restriction you told for service, these restriction is for goods also, the 10% of turnover or 5 lakh, whichever is
Here
higher.
there is no restriction beta. आप इधर ही पूछ
No
रहे हो ना
restriction.
सेकंड वाले स्कीम में
Yes, sir, for
इधर इधर
service.
इधर नहीं इधर तो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर का ही है सेकंड स्कीम तो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर का ही है तो कितना भी सर्विस दे सकता है ना
नहीं सर, फॉर गुड्स, बिकॉज सर्विस में सर
एग्जैक्टली
कुछ वो गुड्स के देते हैं ना,
हाँ
तो
वही मैं
उसका कोई
समझ गया इधर
रेस्ट्रिक्शन
आप
है
बोल रहे
क्या?
हो कि ये जो गुड्स दे रहे हैं बराबर क्या इसके लिए कोई
यस सर.
रेस्ट्रिक्शन है आंसर इज नो
ओके
सो
सर.
इसलिए मैंने इधर क्रॉस कर दिया सो हियर नो रेस्ट्रिक्शन फॉर sale of goods to the service provider but to the trader and manufacturer if they want to provide service they can provide service up to this limit so good point I hope but this is clear
ओके.
right
यस सर.
now let us read what are the common restriction conditions now this is for both the schemes whether under 10.1 or 10.2a first they will have to pay the tax under reverse charge wherever applicable so जहां पे भी reverse charge applicable होता है they have to pay tax CTP NRTP नहीं आ सकते स्कीम में, वी स्टडीड अर्लियर. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, उनको अपने सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स पे ये वर्ड लिखना पड़ेगा कि वो कॉम्पोजिशन वाले पर्सन हैं. नाउ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग फॉर कॉम्पोजिशन डीलर, रेगुलर डीलर जो होता है वो टैक्स इनवॉइस बनाता है, तो जो वो बिल बनाता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज टैक्स इनवॉइस. बट अ कॉम्पोजिशन डीलर व्हेन ही प्रिपेयर्स अ बिल इट इज कॉल्ड एज बिल ऑफ सप्लाई. सो दिस इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट डिफरेंस. तो मैं यहां पे लिखता हूं. सो दिस पर्सन कॉमन prepare bill of supply instead of tax invoice. ये पहला पॉइंट. और सेकंड पॉइंट, cannot collect tax from customer. ये जो आप 1%, 5%, 6% भर रहे हो, you cannot collect this tax from the customer. You have to pay it out of your pocket and cannot claim input tax credit. So these are the common restrictions, conditions which are given over here. Right? Now coming to the last point, that is change from composition to regular. Now what is very important? Composition to regular or regular to composition. The change allowed financial year wise. What is financial year wise? So if in 25-26 you want to be under composition, you will have to be under composition for the whole year. You can change, but you can change from 26-27. Similarly, in 26-27, let us say you have opted for regular, but 27-28 you want to go to composition. Yes, you can go. So it can be changed after the financial year is over. So with this, we have completed entire composition scheme. Now I'm giving you the break. Today we did not take a break earlier, but now we'll take some break. And at 8:15, I will again connect for discussing the next topic, that is place of supply. Yes, Nisha, you can ask your question.
Sir, I am telling that we are following the 10 of 1 and 2 and 2A. So those who want, तो सर ये मतलब उनको देखना है कि उनको कौन से इसके मतलब इसमें सेक्शन में जाना है.
नहीं, पहले आपको ये देखना है कौन कौन हो. अगर आप मैन्युफैक्चरर हो, ट्रेडर हो, रेस्टोरेंट हो, तो आप बाय डिफॉल्ट इसी में आने वाले हो.
ओके सर. और फिर
और
अगर
अगर आप
सर्विस के हैं तो हम 2A में आएंगे.
हाँ, तो ये आपके पास चॉइस नहीं है.
ओके सर.
परफेक्ट.
यस सर.
यस लोहित.
Yes, sir, I just wanted to ask regarding the last point. In 10.1.2, you told they can shift only within a year.
No,
So,
this is not for 10.1.2. This is common, na? I have written this commonly. This is common conditions. Yes,
okay.
so both.
What if I was in composition supply and my taxable limit, like what you told, 50 lakhs or 1.5 crores, gets exceeded within that year?
In that particular case, okay, I'll mention that. If any condition of composition is breached, let me call it as breached, there is automatic conversion from composition to regular. वो तो फिर ऑटोमेटिकली आप कॉम्पोजिशन के बाहर आ गए ना. सो लेट अस से यू आर सेइंग टर्नओवर एक्सीड, या जैसे एक और कंडीशन था कि आपने नॉन टैक्सेबल गुड्स नहीं सप्लाई करने हैं, या एक और कंडीशन था कि आपने इंटरस्टेट सप्लाई नहीं करना है, या आपने ऑनलाइन गुड्स नहीं बेचने. ऑल दीज रेस्ट्रिक्शंस आर देयर. इफ एनी ऑफ दीज कंडीशंस रेस्ट्रिक्शंस आर बीच्ड, देयर इज ऑटोमेटिक कन्वर्जन. यू बिकम रेगुलर फ्रॉम दैट डे. फिर आपको फाइनेंशियल ईयर खत्म होने का नहीं वेट करना है. करेक्ट.
Okay. Okay.
Let us say today we are in the month of Feb. You are a composition dealer in this whole financial year 25-26. But today your turnover exceed 1.5 crore. From tomorrow you will be regular dealer.
Okay. And Joe, tax, like the tax that I want to pay to the government till
You
the
have to
point,
pay it from your pocket. You cannot add in your price and recover.
no, till the point it doesn't convert to regular, it will be only
Obviously,
one
yes.
percent.
After regular, you pay tax at regular rate and you collect also from the customer.
Okay.
Yes, Sushmita.
Sir, I just want to understand what is the casual taxable person and
But
non-resident.
I said na beta, see that I can explain now, but again we will then, what will happen? This topic will be aside. I'll go to registration. So please,
Okay,
can you
is
all?
there? Okay,
Yes, I already
sure, sir.
said that.
Sorry,
That
sir.
you will
Yes.
study later.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, Manisha. Manisha, tell me beta.
यस सर। रेस्टोरेंट सर्विस की हम जब बात कर रहे थे तो वो सर 10 to 8 के अंदर भी फॉल कर सकता है ना, बिकॉज
नहीं,
रेस्टोरेंट।
नहीं, नहीं, नहीं। प्लीज बी क्लियर, रेस्टोरेंट पहले से आ चुका था कॉम्पोजिशन में 10-1 में ही, तो वो हमेशा 10-1 में ही, भले वो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर है मगर वो 10-2 में नहीं आता है।
ओके सर, बिकॉज रेस्टोरेंट पे गुड्स भी तो मिलते हैं ना, मतलब फूड इज गुड।
Food is considered as service. When you go to restaurant, when they serve you food, serving of food is called as service, not as goods, beta.
ओके सर, दैट वाज
Yes,
द ओनली डाउट।
correct.
यस
Yes, Bhavani,
Sir, I am audible, sir.
you are very audible. Please tell me.
Sir, is there any mandatory to register under composition scheme?
Beta, registration is compulsory na after you cross 20 lakhs. See the starting point.
Okay.
What did I explain? Your turnover exceeded this limit, which is the limit for registration. The
Okay.
moment you cross the registration limit, you have to register. But as what? Either
Oh,
as composition or as regular. So in both cases, you have to take registration. In fact, through registration only, you are telling the government and the world that you are a composition dealer.
sir, not like that. I have, for example, I have only 30 lakh turnover. May I
Hmm.
register in regular registration or?
Yes, I said you are optional, na?
Uh,
It is option,
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
right? And you will get GST number also.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Fine.
Okay, sir. Thank
Yes,
you.
Nisha. Yes, Nisha.
So, sir, you told financial year wise we will change,
Your voice is not clear, Nisha. Your voice
but
is breaking, so
in
I cannot.
between we
Beta,
want to
beta, your
shift from
voice.
because my
Nisha,
turnover is exceeding.
Nisha, 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 सुनो पहले. आपका आवाज मेरे तक नहीं आ रहा
Yes,
है.
sir.
It is breaking.
सर अब आ रहा है?
अब क्लियर है, बोलो.
सर मैं आपसे ही बोली थी, जैसे हम फाइनेंशियल ईयर में अगर इन बिटवीन हमें मतलब चेंज करना होगा कंपोजिशन
Not
से
allowed.
रेगुलर में,
Not
तो
allowed.
नॉट अलाउड, क्योंकि सर अगर हमारी टर्नओवर एक्सीड हो जाएगी
तो
तो।
वो ऑटोमेटिक है ना, तब तो वो ऑटोमेटिक है. आपके पास चॉइस नहीं, वो ऑटोमेटिक है.
ओके, वैसे मतलब ईयर वाइज ही वैसे चेंज
अपनी मर्जी
करेंगे
से
हम।
नहीं कर सकते. यस.
ओके
सी, जीएसटी नंबर कॉम्पोजिशन का रेगुलर वालों का नंबर सेम रहता है. सिर्फ आपका स्टेटस चेंज होता है फ्रॉम कॉम्पोजिशन टू रेगुलर द मोमेंट योर टर्नओवर एक्सीड्स. और इन द नेक्स्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर जब आपको ऑप्शन चेंज करना है तो सिर्फ आपका ऑप्शन चेंज होता है, नंबर वही रहता है. Yes, the moment Aditi you cross 1.5, you will become automatically regular. Correct? So I hope everybody's queries are answered. Yes, Aditi, I've unmuted you. Okay. So we'll take a fast 5 minutes break. Just a comfort break I want. And then we'll go to place of supply. Okay? Today we have not taken a break because our discussion was very engaging. So it's good, but still 5 minutes break and we'll come back and go to the next chapter. Okay, students. Now we are switching to the next part of our today's deliberation, that is place of supply. Yes, Gayatri, beta.
Sir, in composition levy, you said that they will not add GST to their goods and sales. So the
Means they
GST.
cannot see normally. अभी जैसे हमने last lecture में पढ़ा था, if you remember our last lecture discussion, which was very great, where we discussed that what I do, I am the lawyer, I am the chartered accountant, 1 lakh plus GST. मैं हमेशा GST ऐड करके आपसे लेता हूँ, करेक्ट?
Yes, sir.
कॉम्पोजिशन डीलर वो नहीं कर सकता है. कॉम्पोजिशन डीलर has to charge you lump sum price. He cannot say my price is 1 lakh plus GST. Not allowed. So जो भी
Sir, तो
composition rates है,
उसमें
he cannot charge and collect from the customer.
सर तो सप्लायर को जो GST पे किया वो उसमें एडेड रहता है या?
अब वो क्या करते हैं, देखो फिर आपका जब गुड्स रहेगा तो गुड्स तो एमआरपी है, तो उसमें तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, उसमें ऑलरेडी जीएसटी इंक्लूडेड है. अगर आप सर्विस
हाँ.
प्रोवाइडर हो तो you then make your price lump sum including GST and then you tell the price. So let us say I'm a composition dealer of salon. मैंने पहले से आपको जो 150 रुपए बोले हैं हेयर कट के, that is including GST, क्योंकि मैं अलग से GST नहीं चार्ज कर सकता. ठीक है?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, निशा बेटा.
So these points are not important in page number 3.63 to 3.68.
Sorry बेटा.
So these page numbers 3.63
हाँ.
to 3.68.
Why? See, this is 3.62.
Because in this rules 3 and 4 are given.
In your module, beta. See, I think these are latest modules which I have downloaded. Maybe you may be having old. See, यहाँ पे 3-4 अगले पेज पे बेटा. It is on page number 3.64. Maybe it is the आपने कब मॉड्यूल लिया है? मैंने अभी आज मैं हमेशा न्यू क्लास जब स्टार्ट होती तो मैं क्लास के जस्ट इमीडिएटली आधे घंटे पहले डाउनलोड करता हूँ.
Okay.
सो मे बी आपका पुराना है इसलिए वो एक पेज नंबर का आगे पीछे फर्क है.
तो सर ये हमारे जो ये रूल्स है ये नहीं पढ़ने हैं क्या सर, रूल्स 3 and 4?
बेटा रूल्स को मैं वही तो कंडीशंस ही तो है रूल्स में जो मैंने अभी लिख के दिए और एक्सप्लेन किए. पढ़ने हैं ना, क्यों नहीं पढ़ने? मैंने लिखा है ना यहाँ पे, देखो मैंने क्या लिख के दिया इधर. कॉमन कंडीशंस पेज नंबर 3.62 ऑनवर्ड्स.
ओके.
और उसी को मैंने शॉर्ट में लिख दिया ना, जो कॉमन पॉइंट्स है यही आगे रूल 3, 4, 5 इन सब में यही तो दिया है.
ओके.
यस यस मनीषा.
You were saying something regarding कि composite levy वाला अपने consumer से नहीं ले सकता, तो
करेक्ट.
I missed
कॉम्पोजिशन
that
स्कीम
point.
पीपल आर नॉट अलाउड टू चार्ज सेपरेटली जीएसटी. करेक्ट. सो व्हाट इज योर डाउट?
मतलब GST वो separately charge नहीं कर सकते तो किस way में करेंगे?
फिर या तो वो बैक कैलकुलेशन करके वो क्या करते हैं, इंक्लूसिव रेट लगा के बेच देते हैं. मतलब दे इंक्लूड जीएसटी, दे डोंट टेल सेपरेटली दैट आई एम चार्जिंग जीएसटी.
ओके सर.
तो जैसे रेस्टोरेंट वाले भी क्या करते हैं, अगर आप देखोगे रेस्टोरेंट में लमसम है, वो आपको अलग से जीएसटी नहीं लिख के दे रहे, पर उन्होंने जब कैलकुलेट किया प्राइस तो उसमें जीएसटी ऐड कर लिया. यानी वो प्राइस के फॉर्म में बता देते थे. इट इज लाइक एमआरपी, दे गिव यू एमआरपी इंक्लूडिंग जीएसटी बिकॉज दे
तो
कैन नॉट
मतलब
सेपरेटली चार्ज जीएसटी.
वो इनवॉइस पे शो नहीं होता मतलब.
करेक्ट. परफेक्ट. दे कैन नॉट शो ऑन इनवॉइस. दैट इज द मेन पॉइंट.
बट दे आर चार्जिंग इट इन
दैट
स्पाइट
इज
ऑफ
देयर
दैट.
चॉइस. देन वो अपने जेब से भरना चाहे तो अपने जेब से भरे.
ओके सर.
ठीक है.
ओके सर.
Now, today for next 5, 7, 10 minutes, we will go to the next topic, which is place of supply. Now in GST, you have always heard this point that GST is a destination based consumption tax. This is what we also studied in chapter 1. Now, when I say GST is a destination-based consumption tax, it means what? ये भी मैंने आपको explain किया है. I'll repeat. A person from Maharashtra, the supplier from Maharashtra, is supplying goods or services to a person from Gujarat. So, GST में जो भी SGST है, half, वो किस state को मिलेगा? The destination state, the consumption state, which in this case is Gujarat. So Gujarat is our consumption state, correct? Or it is our destination state. Now, interestingly, Everywhere we use this word that GST is a destination-based tax or a consumption tax, but nowhere, interestingly, nowhere in the act or the rules they have used this word. So the GST Act and rules is not using the word destination. It is not using the word consumption. But for this same, they are using the word place of supply. So now what we are going to study is that in every transaction, what is the destination state? What is the consumption state? In other words, who is going to get the SGST portion of that transaction? The destination state, the consumption state. But which state will be called as destination or consumption state? That is called as place of supply. So now what we are going to study, we are going to study the principles of determining which state is destination or which state is your consumption state. So now what we will study is the principles, we can say the rules of deciding which state will be the destination state. In short, which state will get the SGST portion. The only thing is we do not call we do not use word destination or consumption. We use the word place of supply. So now when we study these rules of place of supply, and if it is said that Gujarat is the place of supply, it means we are trying to say that for this transaction, Gujarat is the destination state, Gujarat will get the GST. So now we are going to study the principles of determining place of supply. Now this place of supply principles is divided into 4 categories. Firstly, place of supply for goods, place of supply for services, and within goods, domestic transactions and international, which is import, export. Similarly, within services, domestic transactions of services or international transactions of services. So basically, the place of supply rules, the place of supply principles are given in 4 categories. Now, all these are given in different sections. And interestingly, for the first time, we are going to study the section from the IGST Act. So in all other chapters, the starting ones also and future ones also, all the sections that you are studying are from CGST Act. But here we study the sections from IGST Act. Correct? Now, we start with place of supply of goods. And since now time is very short, I will first go to the second case. So we are first today discussing in case of import-export, what will be the place of supply? So it is import or export of goods. Now what does section 11 says? For import of goods, what is the place of supply? Place of supply is the place of importer. Now see, whenever I'm saying place, you have to read it as state. So which place is the place of supply when goods are imported into India? It is the place that it is the state of the importer. Whereas when you are going to export goods, so what will be the place? Now, interestingly, for export, the goods are going outside India. So place of supply is the place outside India where you are exporting goods. Correct? So in case of import of goods, the place of supply will be treated as the state of the importer, where the importer's business is, where the importer is registered in India. That state is the place of supply, that is the destination state for import of goods. But for export of goods, the place is outside India, wherever the goods are sent by the exporter. Right, students? So this is all about place of supply. So in the next class, we will try to cover next two sections, at least 10 and 12. Maybe 12 may not be fully covered because it is a big list. And then in the third class, we will cover balance 12 and entire 13. So I hope you understood what this place of supply concept is. So in GST, we have to decide the destination state. This destination state or consumption state is called as place of supply. So whenever we will study that, or we will say that this is place of supply, it means we are talking about the destination state. Is this fine? Clear? Yes, Aditi, you can take a screenshot, beta. Anyways, I will be sharing all these notes. I've already shared my notes for the first two chapters. Now this charge chapter today I have completed, so I'll be sharing the notes of charge chapter, and all this place of supply, once it is completed, it will be shared. Fine, students. So that is all from my side. I hope you all have understood. Yes, Vedant, so you are correct. In case of export, place of supply, that is a destination, is outside India. Yes, Aditi, I'm scrolling it for you. 1 second. See, so it is full screen now. So students, I hope all things are clear. So Gaurav is asking, sir, import goods from foreign and goods come to port and final delivery to Maharashtra. Exactly. So this is the point. The goods may land at any port in India, but place of supply is the place where the recipient is. So let us say goods are landing at Bombay port, but the recipient is sitting in Indore. So the place of supply will be Indore, that is MP. Yes. Great. So that is all from my side, students. Yes, Vedant, you are again correct. The GST is not leviable outside India. So export sales are called as zero rated supplies. And then you either do not pay GST, or second option is you pay GST and take back as a refund. So you are right, Vedant. Correct. Okay. Good night, everyone. Let us catch up again to continue the concept of place of supply, and let us keep interacting. Please, you can start reading place of supply from your module. Even though you read by yourself anyways, it is deciding which state is the place of supply, so you'll understand. Yes, Karan, tell me.
Sir, I have doubt in composition supply.
Please, ask me.
If I am a composition dealer,
yes,
and my turnover exceed 1.5 crore in that preceding financial
so let
year,
us say, Nastya, again, I always say,
then
take practical. 1 second, listen to me. I always say, take practical example. So today is 12th of Feb, right? Today you cross 1.5
yes,
crore turnover. Now tell me.
Yes. So I will be in regular dealer or composition dealer
So beta, we discussed
from
this
that
just
month or next year.
not that month, that date. So you cross 1.5 CR, automatically you become regular dealer. So from that day, you have to treat yourself as a regular dealer and start paying tax at the normal rates. Start taking ITC, start making detailed invoice. And from this month itself, you have to start filing monthly returns. So everything applicable
Okay,
to a regular dealer will apply from 12th of Feb. That is the date when your turnover crosses. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Understood, Karan?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, Bhavani.
Sir, is there any benefit in registered under regular scheme?
But the benefit is you are able to collect tax from customer. Benefit 1. Benefit 2, ITC, which you are paying to your supplier, you get the credit. So you are getting 2 monetary benefits.
Okay. Because I saw so many members, their turnover is below 50 lakhs, but they are registered under a regular scheme.
Yes, we all register because we get the monetary benefit in the form of collecting the tax also from our customer, and whatever tax we pay to our supplier, which is ITC, is also given to us. So we get both the benefits. So as a businessman, I will prefer regular, provided I have the softwares, etc., to comply with all the requirements.
Like
Yes.
in extra bank loans or like that, is there any extra benefit for regular scheme compared
No,
to composition schemes?
generally not. Generally not. Both are
Okay.
registered dealer and both get the same registration number. So otherwise, it is same for everyone.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Gaurav beta,
सर
बोलिए, tell me.
सर जो टर्नओवर है,
हम्म,
ये टर्नओवर में कंपोजिट टू रेगुलर या रेगुलर टू कंपोजिट है, ये लास्ट ईयर टर्नओवर लेते हैं सिर्फ।
करेक्ट। सो पहले आप लास्ट ईयर टर्नओवर लेके डिसाइड करोगे कि क्या इस साल आप कॉम्पोजिशन में जा सकते हो, और इस साल कॉम्पोजिशन में एक बार आप चले गए क्योंकि लास्ट ईयर का आपका टर्नओवर कम था, तो जब तक इस साल का टर्नओवर आपका कॉम्पोजिशन लिमिट के अंदर है, जैसे 1.5 करोड़ है समझो, सो यू विल
यस सर।
कंटिन्यू टू बी इन कॉम्पोजिशन। जिस दिन आपका करंट ईयर का टर्नओवर कॉम्पोजिशन लिमिट से एक्सीड हो जाएगा, आप इसी साल ऑटोमेटिकली कन्वर्ट हो जाओगे रेगुलर।
सर ऐसा नहीं है कि जैसे 1-2 साल के लिए वेट करना पड़ता है
नहीं
फिर
नहीं
करना
नहीं,
पड़ता
वैसा कुछ नहीं, वैसा कुछ नहीं, इट इज एवरी ईयर ऑन ईयर।
है? ओके, थैंक यू सर।
यस मनीषा बेटा।
यस सर, एक्चुअली मुझे ना अभी भी वो कॉम्पोजिशन लेवी में जो पॉइंट था ना कि वो जीएसटी चार्ज नहीं कर सकता कंज्यूमर से, मुझे उसमें बहुत कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है। तो आप एक
बोलो ना,
एग्जाम्पल दे के
मैं आपको
समझा सकते?
एग्जांपल देता हूँ। यू गो फॉर अ हेयर कट
यस सर।
and the saloon is under composition, the saloon is under regular scheme, let us say, तो वो
यस
क्या
सर।
बोलेगा, मेरे हेयर कट का प्राइस है 200 रुपीज प्लस जीएसटी।
ओके।
तो आप कैसा, वो आपको बिल कैसा देगा, 200 प्लस उस पे अभी
प्लस
5%
जीएसटी।
जीएसटी है, तो 10 रुपीज लगा के वो आपको 210 रुपए लेगा।
यस सर।
ठीक है। आप दूसरे सलोन में गए जो कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम में है, तो वो आपको ये नहीं बोल सकता है 200 प्लस 10%, आप मुझे वो बिल पे नहीं लिख सकता कि 200 इज हेयर कट एंड 10 रुपीज इज जीएसटी। या तो वो
ओके।
आपको 210 का पूरा एक ही बिल देगा, वो बोलेगा भाई मेरा हेयर कट 210 रुपए का है,
हम्म।
he cannot add GST and collect from you. So he will have to say my haircut is of 210, or he will say my haircut is 200, और वो 10 रुपए अपने जेब से जाके गवर्नमेंट को भरेगा।
अपनी जेब से क्यों भरेगा सर? मतलब उसको तो
तो बेटा
नुकसान होगा, तो व्हाई वुड ही वांट
एक चीज
लॉस?
समझो बेटा, मुझे बिजनेस करना है, मुझे कंपटीशन में रहना है,
यस।
तो मैं तो
नहीं
वैसे भी
नहीं।
बाजू वाले का प्राइस डिसाइड करके मेरा प्राइस कम रखूंगा ही ना वैसे भी।
यस सर।
तो वो उसे लॉस नहीं बोलते बेटा, उससे क्या होगा, मेरे कस्टमर्स बढ़ेंगे तो मेरा ऑटोमेटिकली प्रॉफिट बढ़ जाएगा ना।
तो मतलब ये जो कॉम्पोजिशन लेवी के अंडर जो सप्लायर है, ये उस पर डिपेंड करता है कि वो चाहे तो दिखा भी सकता है, नहीं भी चाहे तो नहीं
नहीं नहीं
दिखा
नहीं नहीं,
सकता।
दिखा तो सकता ही नहीं है वो
ओके।
चाहे तो अपने प्राइस में पहले से ऐड करके प्राइस बढ़ा के टैक्स ले ले, पर वो दिखा नहीं सकता है, वो ये नहीं बोल सकता है 200 प्लस टैक्स, नॉट अलाउड। वो अपनी
ओके।
प्राइस बढ़ा देगा, बोल देगा मेरी प्राइस ही 210 है।
ओके। ओके। मतलब
ठीक
वो
है ना।
शो तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं करेगा, भले ही
बिल्कुल
वो
नहीं,
भले ही
प्राइस
वो
में
उसमें
पहले से
ऐड
इंक्लूड
कर रहा
करके
है।
अपनी प्राइस बढ़ा के प्राइस, ज्यादा प्राइस बता दे, विच इज इंक्लूडिंग टैक्स।
ओके सर, गॉट इट।
अंडरस्टूड बेटा।
यस सर, थैंक यू।
परफेक्ट। So that is all students. Thank you very much. Let us connect again. Please keep reading. So you may please read the place of supply chapter section 10 and 12. So that next lecture when we come, you have something read, something is there in your minds, and we can again have a great discussion like the previous class. Thank you all. Thank you very, very, very much. Sanket ji, we can close. Thank you, Sanket ji. Good day.